This video looks at using Adobe Acrobat Professional to build a project portfolio. And in this video, we're going to explore how to use Adobe Acrobat Professional to assemble a range of sources into a single document that we can distribute to others. This might be to collate a group of students' work, possibly all of their disparate responses to a single project or a single stimulus. To prepare a portfolio of work by an individual, possibly a student, possibly a member of staff, which might highlight everything they've done in a particular curriculum area, or everything over an entire year, or something else of their choosing. And in this case, we're going to look at how to share a school-wide or inter-school project, and how we might use the abilities of Adobe Acrobat Professional in order to facilitate this. We're also going to examine the available options for creating a PDF of this sort, whether it's a single PDF file or the slightly more sophisticated PDF portfolio. So these are the files that we're going to look at combining today. This is from a Model United Nations project, and by its very nature there's lots of documentation associated with this, as well as the documents here, which include a PDF county-wide handbook, an awards document from another Model United Nations, some training in PowerPoint form, and a couple of images. We've also got lots of PDFs that are position papers and pre-event articles that have been created by students who have been undertaking this. We've also got country profiles and profiles of the media organisations involved. Now we need to combine all of these in a way that can be easily distributed, and Acrobat Professional allows us to do that. So when we start Acrobat Professional, we see the tasks window, and there are a number of simple tasks here. Combine files into PDF is highlighted there. We can also get to it from the Create menu, which is up here, and under the menu option, Combine Files into a single PDF. This dialog box then appears, and there's a space here for us to add individual files. So I'm going to click Add Files and click the Add Files button, and then I'm going to go into my Documents library, and I'm going to just simply add an existing PDF file because it's a handbook, and there it is. This tells me there's 56 pages inside of it, and I can click on the plus sign to expand those, and if, for example, there's a couple of pages in there I didn't need or I didn't want, I could remove that page from there. So I can dive into the document and remove some pages from that just to make it smaller, and then scroll up the top again, and it's now down to 52 pages. I can also add an entire folder. So if I go into my documents and look in my professional projects, which is where I've got it, in the Combine project, and then I go into, say, the papers and articles. Now these are the papers and articles written by media organisations and individual countries, but I'm just going to select that folder, click OK, and it will go through and add in every single PDF, every single file that's in there. It tells me how many pages are in each one. Again, I can expand them and remove pages if I want to. I can also change the order of them. I can drag them around. They're in alphabetical order by default, but I can change them if I want to. And I can preview what the document will look like. So that's fairly simple. I can also, if I go to my folders in Windows Explorer, I can start to do things like I can just drag images in. I can drag files in, and they will appear inside the PDF. Now if I drag in a PowerPoint, what's going to happen is it's going to sit in there like this, and it's going to show me that there are 15 slides, and I can, again, as I could with the PDF files, I can remove some of those slides if I want to. I can also, when I've expanded the view of that, I can drag that in there. So I can take the image and place it within the PowerPoint file. And when I click Combine Files, what it's going to do, it's going to very quickly take all the PDFs and put them together. Any PowerPoints, it's going to go away and print to a PDF and then incorporate that into this PDF file. What we're going to get when that's done is we're going to get a linear PDF file. The order that we have here is the order that the pages are going to be in. And if I look at the pages, you can see there's my first one, there's my second page, and it goes all the way down to, well, you can see from up here we have 121 pages in this document, and it's a linear document. There are bookmarks in there because what it's done is it's taken all the bookmarks from all the PDFs and all the Office files, and it's made them into something that is fairly useful for getting around the document. It's very, very useful if you've got a long document and have bookmarks, but it is a linear document. So we can then go to the File menu and click Save, and we will just save it. By default it gives it a name of Binder with a number, and it just saves it as a PDF file, and anybody with the Adobe Reader can read this PDF file. So that's one way of getting many of those documents together into one file that we can then distribute to them. It's not that navigable. It's quite difficult maybe to pick your way through and find things. The bookmarks maybe are a bit over the top because it's bookmarked everything, and the pages, you can't really see much from there. It's quite hard maybe to get a grip on what's going on. So what we can also do is we can create a PDF portfolio. This is like a supercharged version of what we've just done. And a PDF portfolio starts off by asking you for a layout. I'm going to pick a grid layout because it's very simple and it's going to arrange the documents in a grid layout. We can change this later. If I then click add files, it's then going to go to my add files menu and it's going to ask me to, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. I'm going to add in the PDF that's the handbook, and immediately I'm going to get a much more visual representation here. So let's go and add another file. Let's add in an Excel spreadsheet. That goes next to the document. You can see immediately the PDF portfolio is about collecting documents together, and each document preserves its own identity. We can go and change the name if we want to. So I want to get rid of the file extension on there and maybe some of the underscores and convert them into spaces. I can do that, and I can rename any of these if I want to. I can immediately also change the layout, so I get a free-form layout where things look like they're scattered on a desk, and there's a little bit more interaction in there. I can also do something like I can add a folder. Now a folder, if you go back to the documents I had here, I have this folder of documents here. Now if I added those in the previous way of doing this, all of those documents would get added individually, just one after the other, and they would lose their kind of identity as being in a folder. When I do this within a portfolio, if I go and find those documents, and let's go to papers and articles, and I'm just going to add that folder. What happens is that the papers and articles folder comes in its own right. And when I double click on it, there are two folders within there. And when I double click on one of those folders, I see all of the PDFs within that folder, so it retains that structure. Very useful if you've got a logical structure to your documents already. And again, what I can do is I can go back and click on grid, and everything is reorganized into the grid format. Now this is okay, and you can see how this is going to work. I can keep adding documents, I can keep adding folders, but it looks fairly maybe uninspiring, doesn't really feel unique to what I'm doing, either to my school or to the project. But what I can do is I can immediately start to add things. I mean, first of all, this comes from the fact I'm using a visual theme that is modern. I can go to Tech Office, which is a bit more wooden, Spring, which is much more blue, and you can see there's a different sort of set there. But if I just go back to modern, I can change this and change the background image, choose a new image, and I've got an image that is suitable for this. So I click open, immediately gives it a bit more character, and I can change how it's scaled so it doesn't show a border. There we go. And I can also, if this was a normal photograph with people in it and they were recognizable, I could blur the image. This is already blurred because of the focus on the image, so it's not really a problem. Up here at the top, I've also got the ability to add some text, and I might say, so Model United Nations, or what I can also do is I can, let's just click out of here, I can also add an image, and I've got a logo here for my Model United Nations, and I can drag that out, make it larger so it fills the header up there, and I can start to then customize this to make it feel like it belongs to me or my school rather than just someone else's idea of what a document should look like. There's also a number of color palettes I can use. If I want to really go to town on this, I can spend a lot of time doing my customizing color palettes, but I'm just going to stick with this in this fairly garish green. But you can do a lot with this, and immediately this is far more usable, if you like, than this one. That is a very useful document in some ways, but actually it's quite hard to find your way around. This portfolio presents things in a way that feels like it's a lot more accessible. I can also add another folder. Let's just go for broke here. Go into my documents, go and find that folder of the where were we? The profiles. Click OK. Adds in another folder, and I can start to reorder these if I want to. I can change the order. I can put these profiles up much nearer the front, and the other maybe documents I got from somewhere else. Let's just add a PowerPoint in there. So any of these are visible, and anybody who downloads this PDF, if I give it to them either online or on a memory stick or on another kind of physical media, can open this, and they will immediately be able to browse through this portfolio as I have set it out, and then go and open a document and open it in Acrobat Reader like they normally would. But it preserves that within the context of this wider portfolio of evidence. So in this video we've looked at how to use Adobe Acrobat Professional to assemble a range of sources into a single document, how we could use that to collate a group of students' work, to prepare a portfolio of work by just one person, which might come from all sorts of different sources from their career in a school, and in what we've looked at here is to share a school-wide or inter-school project, in this case a Model United Nations project. And we've also looked at the differences between a single PDF file or a PDF portfolio and what each of those affords. So hopefully that's useful to you and will give you some ideas for how you can create similar projects based around Adobe Acrobat Professional.